You know what? Really, I don't even want to talk about, or I'm fine talking about, but I'm not specifically talking about Buzzard here or Mercenaries, but actually I'm more so talking about film here. It's really frustrating that if you're making like legitimate arguments for something you like in film, for example, somebody who disagrees with you, if you saw it when you were a child, will just say, oh, you only like it because of nostalgia. They'll just ignore all of the points you've made and just be like, well, you're biased. It's like, what? Like, I can be biased, but also like take an objective viewpoint on like the qualities of a piece of media. Like, I can remove nostalgia when I talk about something. Like, that's possible to do, right?
Possible, but they have somewhat of a point that some people find that difficult. But I would say for the most part, yeah, that's just they're being an asshole.
I think that's difficult. Well, okay. Maybe this is going to sound elitist, but yeah, I think that is difficult for a lot of people. But I think if you're... Actually, no, it's not even elitist. I think if you can acknowledge it, like if you acknowledge that nostalgia does play a part in your viewpoint, then I think you can also take an objective, like, view on it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think if you're into like if you're really into like the stuff that you're talking about, at a certain point, like, nostalgia is not even going to cut it for you. Like, you're going to want, like, there are games that I grew up with playing, and like, I might play them and have fun because of nostalgia, but I'm not going to like say that, I'm not going to sit there and also say it's a good game, you know? It's something where it's like, yeah, I can like appreciate it for the nostalgia, but I can also appreciate it for like it's for its own qualities that it stands on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the example, I feel like Star Wars is something where it's like a lot of people just like say that the original movies are just good because of nostalgia, and it's just like, no, like, watch episode 4, which was just called Star Wars. I kind of just want to call it Star Wars. It wasn't even called A New Hope, which I think is a dumb name. Watch Star Wars, and then watch episode 5, and like tell me that those are not like fundamentally great sci-fi adventure, like, fantasy movies. I think that would be a hard argument to make, that those movies are not good in their own right. On the flip side, I rewatched Return of the Jedi recently, and I was surprised at how like fondly I remember that movie, but at how bad I thought it, like how many flaws I felt it had from like an objective standpoint.
Yeah, there was a TV show that I used to love as a kid called Reboot, and I loved it as a kid, and watching it now, I still love it, but I recognize that a lot of it is nostalgia,
Exactly.
and that objectively it's not really a great TV show.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's like certain things that I love from my childhood, but I wouldn't recommend to people because I don't actually fundamentally think that they're that good. But then there are things that I love from my childhood that I do as an adult think like, no, I think I could show this to somebody today, and they would like it, you know. And Mercenaries, yeah. I think a lot of gamers would like Mercenaries. It's certainly like dated in some aspects, but I think honestly, I do think that like modern, even like kids today could like play Mercenaries and like have a good time. I think it's just a fun game. I think they did a really good job.
Too. Yeah.
Whereas like this game, like honestly, this game is fun, but like you really have to work. There is so much wrong with this game that you have to work through all the bullshit to get to like the stuff that you and I know is there. There is some really, really good stuff to this game, but I don't think that this game makes a good first, second, third, fourth, or even fifth impression. Because it's just, and I think nostalgia is heavily, heavily, heavily influencing like why I like this game. So.
Yeah, I can see that, which it doesn't bode very well for future speedrunning in this game.
I think the speedrunning, well, speedrunning is its own beast, though, because a game can be bad and be fun for speedrunning, right? And a game can be good and be bad for speedrunning.
Yeah.
So I think this game actually is, like, surprisingly good for speedrunning. And fans of first-person shooters, and maybe if, like, a new Rainbow Six title comes out, and they want to speedrun, and they played Rainbow Six, and they know they like the franchise, and they might just, like, look for a game to run, like, I could see that being an avenue for future speedrunners of this game to like pick it up.
Right. I don't know. As a part of the Rainbow Six speedrunners Discord, people don't really like to. I don't see them bounce around between games very often. They usually stick to the games that they know.
Yeah, that's true. But that's yeah. Roger, I mostly agree with you. I was actually going to say that, but the reason I paused was I actually don't know if any game has quite done even Rainbow Six Vegas 2 has quite done terrorist hunt as well as it's done in this game. Like that mode of like cooperatively killing bots is like it exists in a lot of games. I mean, Call of Duty even has it, but like it is so good in this game, and I all I can say was it must have been an accident how good they got it. Because it's good because it's broken. Like the broken aspects make it more fun, and it's truly like I think the gift that keeps on giving, because with speedrunning of the story is totally different than speedrunning Terrorist Hunt in this game. When you're speedrunning Terrorist Hunt, you're like 99% playing the game as it's intended, right?
Yeah.
So in that regard, like you can truly, and they give you an in-game time too, so like you can truly like on your own without the concept of speedrunning exists, like just do that mode as it's intended, and it gets better and better the more effort you put into it. But you can also be super casual, and there's some fun glitches and stuff that you can exploit to make it easier as a casual player. So,
I think that's a really good explanation of Terrorist Hunt, like speedrunning versus casual play.
Yeah. So
I've never really been able to articulate it that well, but yeah, I think that's really well said.
Yeah, like it's I sometimes worry like that I've quote ruined Terrorist Hunt for myself by speedrunning it. Like if I ever played it with my friends that I played it casually with, whether I would still like have a good time. But I think I could. Like I think I literally just need to kind of like change gears and just like take it more slow and use some of those fun glitches, and and like that's definitely where a lot of the enjoyment comes from.
So for what it's worth, I have tried to do that, like not necessarily with friends, but I've tried to play Terrorist Hunt, and it wasn't very enjoyable. But I think a lot of that is I can't ever find people who want to play this game that have good connections like we have with each other. Like everyone I have ever tried to play with is very laggy.
Well, I think, dude, the problem is that you're playing with strangers. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I understand the connection is a part of it, but the truth is that, dude, I would never want to do Terrorist Hunt with just randos. I didn't even do that when the game was out, when it was new. I did it every now and then, but, like, it was definitely better to have a squad. Like, if you have, like, 2 or 3, like, close friends that you can play this game with, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that is a good point, because if you're not on the same page, then it doesn't flow well at all.
Exactly, and you just are like awkward. There's like awkward social pressure too, of like if you die, like what's the move? Do you ask them to kill themselves? Do they kill themselves? Like there's like courtesy involved. So, yeah.